Welcome, One Piece followers, to episode 1126, a very special episode that I have been waiting for. This is the fourth episode after the return, and I haven't reviewed any episode because I intentionally waited for the release of this episode and the story of Kizaru, which is still not clear in the manga. So grab a cup of coffee or tea, come on, director first. We will start with the quality of production and the direction and the strength of the drawing, or the improvement of the drawing, of course. In One Piece, the art style improves or changes its pattern after each arc. We noticed this after the end of the arc and our entry into Egghead, or the head of the egg, and since the work basically stopped in Egghead and returned again in Egghead, did we notice any improvement in the overall drawing or in the direction? The drawing before the stop and after the return, I didn't feel it changed. Maybe it's very slight, this is normal because in the episodes before the break were amazing, and the animation was fantastic. The battle scene between Garp and Akainu, even the production. I didn't feel the direction changed, and I'll tell you why. Because there were some strong episodes that were before the break, like the flashback of Marijois and Kiji. And Garp, Shanks, and Kid Luffy against Rob Lucci had fantastic and strong direction, very enjoyable, but of course this was during the strong events and fights in the normal situation. I don't see the big change or the radical change like what is going to come. That's what I can only say that the essential thing so far, the difference I noticed, is the lack of effects, the effects that were unnecessary in abundance, the colors, which we complained about a lot during the war between Luffy and Kaido after the awakening, in addition to the high frames, which appeared a lot in the battle between Luffy and Kaido, after the awakening to the extent that you are not attached to Luffy from movement. You are enjoying seeing Luffy transformed, and fighting with very fast movement does not make you feel the strength of the battle. In addition to the colors, the many that were present, for example. So you understand? I don't mean when Luffy first used Gear Second against Rob Lucci. We felt the power of the hit, or when you guys were in the troop in the Sabati Archipelago, God, it was a strong meal. This thing didn't apply to all the battles that we have seen at the moment, nor to a part of them. But yes, it was disruptive, especially when two come to punch each other, like Zoro and Garp. Suddenly it brings you explosion colors that cover the taste of this hit with a quantity of flair or something unnecessary. I mean, I want to see Akiji's face get distorted, but that's it. I noticed a change in the battle between Kizaru and Luffy. It started when Luffy launched towards Kizaru, and he gave him a kick. You really feel it's a hit. It's a strong hit. It wasn't overdone with colors, and even the episode. Today, 1126, we felt the battle between Kizaru and Luffy was amazing. The robot was destroyed by Kizaru's kick to Luffy. Is it possible that this is because Luffy hasn't activated Gear 5th yet? I don't know. So in short, the production has changed drastically, and I started to judge. Until we see very strong battles, especially using Gear 5th, we need to know whether the output is necessary or not. Now, let's move on to the two most important events that happened in this episode. Kizaru's story and his killing of Vegapunk. Is it possible that he will kill his friend? Even though he said he doesn't want to kill him, as he has no reason to kill him, this might lead us to a story of Kizaru's betrayal of the Navy in the future, alright? In addition to the story of Kuma, who has lost his consciousness and is acting on the basis of protecting Bonnie. Of course, some of these parts will contain spoilers, and I will let you know it is a spoiler, so watch the video and be assured first. Let's start with Kizaru. Kizaru said a while ago it's just a puppet in the hands of the government. The Navy controls it as they wish in a way. The best dog of the Navy, and this has increased. His curiosity towards Kizaru, because we are talking about one of the three main forces of the Navy, or three admirals. You can be an admiral and just be as an obedient one. I execute the orders. As for me, it's a trick from Oda because every character has a goal. In the story, each character has a background story. The story of Admiral Fujitora had a story and a story strong. And indeed, the goal of joining the Navy and the end the Shichibukai system, and we saw how it helped in Marijois, the Revolutionary Army, and the battle with the Revolutionary Aramark. The Green, because he helped the Revolutionary Army, has a goal. The idea is clear, but he is exploiting this position. As a new admiral, Aramaki has not been clarified. Akainu's goal is clear, to eliminate the pirates. And surely there is a story that has not yet been clarified, but if we come to Kizaru, despite the simple flashback that what is the story of his appearance and his relationship with Vegapunk? Kizaru's complete story is incomplete and was, his behavior is strange in front of Luffy. I won't kill. Vegapunk is here. We are going to dive into the spoilers, and it will appear you are precise. The burning does not stop. We have seen it. In the manga, it is mentioned that Kizaru also launched an attack on Vega. Despite being hit by Saturn, he was injured. It was deadly, but Kizaru finished him off anyway. He said with great confidence, I won't kill him here. I will propose a hypothesis that we know that Vegapunk does not. The body has been destroyed, but his consciousness is still present. However, in the buff, we saw the body of Vegapunk that went to the buff and read the books of his O'Hara that were transferred to the buff. The body of Vegapunk is an old man, similar to the version of Vegapunk that we are seeing now. He resembles Einstein, and any Vegapunk has research and sciences that he has reached are still present and preserved in the cubes, that everything Vegapunk did exists except for the betrayal that shows you this version. The version exists, and notice that Vegapunk has rid himself of the bad trait of greed because he divided the situation into several. The sections of York that represent greed should be eliminated. Forever, and this is considered a feature, can we say that Kizaru is aware of Vegapunk's plan, even if he killed this body that he killed in the head the egg, and he continued that Vegapunk will not go. This information may be with Kizaru. In addition, Kizaru provided food for Luffy. When he was tired in the head of the egg and what happened about it, Oda said in the SBS how an admiral gives Yonko 8 to return and fight the navy. It indicates Kizaru's inclinations and his true goal that Modi had to help Luffy, which indicates Kizaru's betrayal of the navy in the future. Or, it's a possibility, and I will tell you why. Because the navy, along with the world government, is a very powerful force, and it's difficult to face them. If we say the crew with the Revolutionary Army, they won't be able to overcome the government and the navy. It's very difficult to talk about 3 admirals, fleet commanders, and weapons. Forget about the weapons of Mark III. Let's move on to the Seraphim, in addition to the Knights. And we have seen. The power of the Knights in the recent chapters is terrifying, and their leader, along with 5 Jiro, in addition to Im and a weapon. Legendary like Uranus, and God knows what else is there. Hidden weapons. So when you say the crew consists of 3, Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji, they are the strongest. And you say the revolutionaries have 2 or 3 strong characters along with Kuma. Sabu, Dragon, and Kuma. The situation is difficult, and this story is about betrayal in the navy that will happen, or revolutions. This has been present since Admiral Fujitora in the story of Kobe from the Sword Team, that she acts at her ease in many factors that are present. We see the support for a partial coup in the navy. This is my opinion, and I won't prolong the topic for the fire. And if we notice, Kizaru has the prediction Haki. So Luffy used Snake Man and Katakuri when he fought Luffy, and Snake Man was using prediction Haki. Now, Luffy's attacks were fast and needed prediction Haki to counter them, and Kizaru blocked them as if they were nothing, given that he is the fastest admiral. Despite the beginning of the fight against Luffy, I feel that Kizaru's fruit is underrated. In the story, this will be clarified in the episodes. The next fruit, the light fruit, is supposed to be natural, right? A fruit capable of facing it, but only one fruit. The black hole fruit is the darkness fruit because it is a black hole. The black hole is capable of swallowing light logically. In fact, Luffy's fruit, no matter how difficult it is, the fruit of Kizaru faces an impossible challenge. Although Luffy is capable of keeping up with the speed of light, it is in his nature Oda sets limits for the fruits. And I feel that Oda involvement with Kizaru's fruit, and we notice this from the style of using this fruit by Kizaru. He uses a beam to move, not with great speed. The speed of light has clear limits, but it is. In my opinion, it is the second strongest fruit in the story, according to what is explained according to the advantages it provides. It is possible. In the future, Luffy's fruit may surpass if more secrets are revealed to us. Now, let's move on to the part about Kuma, who now supposedly has no memory or consciousness, has returned to Mary Jawaz and left the Revolutionary Army, and the reason he left the Revolutionary Army was clear. He didn't want to think about searching for Bonnie, which is clear. Yes, in this episode more than in the manga, but being unconscious and having lost your memory, how can you remember Bonnie and try to go save her here? We will delve into a bit of a spoiler, which is Kuma's special race. The race of the Buccaneer. Vegapunk mentioned this race has a feature, but he didn't tell us what it is exactly, and until now, we are confused about it, hoping to find a suitable explanation, but according to the events that have been clarified, Kuma has lost his will and lost his memory. He is supposed to be a robot currently, but he is still remembering and protecting Boney. Perhaps this feature allows those who have consciousness to retain it. Second means to preserve part of the consciousness or memory. Something important related to him or his family, for example, is it is determined and preserved somewhere in his consciousness or in his mind. I honestly don't know about this. The feature is not completely clear, of course, in the episodes. The next one will be able to judge a more foolish output than the necessary from the studio. And I mean here about the excessive effects that do not contribute the many colors that we suffered from in 1. I don't object to Luffy's antics in battle, accepting Luffy's character and the nature of his fruit, but what? And the excessive effects. So give us your opinions in the comments. And if you feel a difference after the return of the work, your opinion matters. And in conclusion, send blessings upon the messenger of Allah and support us with likes and subscriptions. Let's go.